The American superhero animated television series Batman the Animated Series is based on the DC Comics character Batman. It was first shown on Fox Kids from September 5th, 1992 all the way through September 15th, 1995 and consisted a total of 85 episodes. The show was created by Bruce Timm, Paul Dini and Mitch Bryan, and it was produced by Warner Brothers Animation. The series started broadcasting in 1994 under the title The Adventures of Batman and Robin, which was also used for reruns of older episodes on Fox Kids. So keep watching, because you will see the complete history of Batman the Animated Series. The complete history. The DC animated universe would begin humbly with the airing of Batman the Animated Series in 1992. The series would embrace many of the stylings of Tim Burton's Batman, depicting Gotham Metropolis as a city soaked in darkness, densely packed with impossibly towering Art Deco buildings like a grimier take on Fritz Lang's Metropolis. The dreamlike aesthetic would be taken even further by BTAS, which would dress its characters in clothes and automobiles from the 1930s and 1940s, yet provide them with technology that was either contemporary or even future. Put some blimps in the sky and you've got a Gotham City that seems like it might be a pit stop on the route to the Twilight Zone. And you've also got a Batman who lives outside of time. This ageless and otherworldly Gotham provided BTAS with the opportunity to produce a children's program while still fulfilling its other obligations. The absurdist, retro-futurist exaggeration of American urbanization helps make the gloomy morality plays and sad key characters seem familiar enough to appeal, while yet being imaginative enough to keep the story from becoming weighed down by real-world comparisons. To the same end, the series' gloomy themes seldom, if ever, slipped into nihilistic terrain, which is a regular indulgence of less successful gritty Batman stories that are sometimes mistaken. Each tragic tale that is told here, on the other hand, is buoyed by a sense of optimism and persistence, in addition to providing insightful life lessons that Batman and/or the audience may take away from it. The television show was structured in episodes, so there was plenty of space to delve into many facets of Batman's personality and heroic exploits. After all, Batman is generally portrayed as somewhat of a Renaissance man when compared to other superheroes. He's represented as having equal aspects of being a crime fighter, detective, ninja, Halloween costume, scientist, father, son, and friend. Because it was structured as a serial, BTAS was able to devote whole episodes to delving into a specific facet or quality of the character. In the story On Leather Wings, he plays the role of a great investigator and scientist who disobeys the dictation of authorities in order to assist a guy in becoming something other than a monster. In the story Beware the Grey Ghost, Bruce's inner child is captivated by the prospect of working alongside and assisting one of the people who inspired him when he was younger. Both Almost Got Him and Trial are focused on highlighting the impact that Batman's presence has on those he faces up against. The song Perchance to Dream highlights Bruce Wayne's longing for a regular existence, one in which he does not have to wear a cape. You only need to watch a few episodes to realize how well Tim and Dini recognized and used the potential of the television medium to investigate each facet of such a legendary and multifaceted figure. The concept, structure, and demographics of BTS were all unique, but the show's tone was something else that set it apart. It combined lighthearted, silly adventure with serious disclosures about the traumatic experiences of its protagonists. Children and adults alike were able to commiserate with Bruce Wayne within the course of a single episode over his self-destructive ways of dealing with the tragic events of his past, while simultaneously rejoicing in Batman's glorious victory against the forces of evil. This wide variety of emotionally charged stakes helped, among other things, to bring attention to the two-sided character of Bruce Wayne's dual personality. Voice actor Kevin Conroy's ability to adopt a distinct persona for each character he portrays demonstrates, maybe more than anything else, how well the Batman and Bruce Wayne dynamic is balanced. Bruce switching off his sunny rich boy voice the moment he leaves a party, addressing Alfred in his rougher Batman timber sans cape and cowl, will always be among the favorite depictions of Batman's view of Bruce Wayne as the facade. Plenty of Batman adaptations have understood the concept that Bruce Wayne is Batman's mask even more than the other way around, but few actors have been able to portray it as vividly as Conroy. It's such a simple decision, yet it perfectly captures the essence of Batman's dual persona right away. A Batman who utilizes digital modulation or who sounds like he has throat cancer would never be able to compete with Conroy's subtle vocal posture alterations because they will always sound inferior. You probably already know that this series also introduced the world to another all-time comic book voice in the form of Mark Hamill's iconic take on the Joker. At this point, the voice that most people have in their heads as the default voice for the character, regardless of whether they realize it or not, comes from Hamill's interpretation of the Joker. Hamill's vaudeville musicality and exaggerated mid-Atlantic dialect offered the character a particular brand of lunacy, and his varied range of chuckles alone would have been enough to confirm this rendition of Batman's adversary as the finest. Hamill also lent the role a distinctive brand of mania. But the true force is in the way that Hamill performs the little one-liners and utilitarian dialogue. His Joker could be truly amusing yet, in the same breath, sadistically terrifying. He was the ideal contrast for Batman's stoicism and unyielding sense of duty. This version of the mythology was carried over into many of the future films and television shows that were spawned from BTAS, and it was one of the most prominent aspects of those works. Even with plenty of material that is not canon to the Star Wars world, characters like Conroy and Hamill, along with others, would be reused for several projects over the course of decades. Characters: the Joker's sidekick, Harley Quinn, Gotham City Police investigator Renee Montoya, the vigilante Lockup, former actor Simon Trent, and Ninja Kyodai Ken are all examples of original concepts that were later adapted into characters in comic books. Older villains from the comics who were not as well known, such as Count Vertigo, the Mirror Man, and the Clock King, had their appearances and personalities altered for the series. Other original antagonists were created, including Ronald Daggett, Red Claw, Boss Biggis, Hardak, and Emil Dorian. However, they did not receive much critical acclaim and did not make many appearances outside the series, with the exception of Roland Daggett, who was reimagined as the businessman John Daggett for The Dark Knight Rises. A number of the series' reinterpretations have also been carried over into the main line of DC Comics, in addition to the characters who have been created that have crossed over into that line. After being killed off some years previously, Mr. Freeze was brought back after being reimagined in the comics to more closely resemble the set plot of the television series. This was done because of the popularity of the series, which really prompted DC to bring back the character. Bruce Wayne, Batman. Bruce Wayne, the son of wealthy philanthropists, was only 8 years old when he saw the robbery and subsequent murder of his parents, Thomas and Martha, as they were walking down the street. He would carry the emotional and mental scars of the experience with him for the rest of his life. Alfred Pennyworth, who served as the family's butler, was responsible for caring for Bruce as a result. Over the course of his life, Bruce underwent rigorous training in mental and physical conditioning, martial arts, criminology, science, manhunting, forensics, detective work, interrogation methods, and intimidation. He did this so that he could channel the pain and trauma he had endured over the years into a burning fuel for a lifelong obsession. This obsession would consume him for the rest of his life. As a result of his observations of the widespread criminal activity and corruption in Gotham City, he made the decision to deal with the crime wave in Gotham in his own way. He used his years of training and swore an oath to dedicate his entire life to fighting crime in an effort to avenge the murder of his parents and to use his pain and suffering as motivation to drive him to do good. While being guided by the self-enforced moral code that forbade him to ever kill, Bruce opted to take on the guise of the Batman, a feared, almost mythological, bat-masked vigilante after being inspired by the fact that bats, of which he had been afraid of since he was a youngster, used to hang about the area where he used to live. The first time we meet Barbara Gordon is in the two-part episode Heart of Steel, in which she discovers that she may have been wrong about her father all along. After her father, Commissioner Gordon, is taken into custody on allegations of bribery and corruption, she makes her debut as her alter persona, Batgirl, in the comic book titled Shadow of the Bat. Her Batgirl costume is the same as it was in the Adventures of Batman and the Bronze Age of comics. She wears the same gray bodysuit, blue cape and cowl, and yellow bat symbol and utility belt. She makes a few appearances during the series and goes to the same college as Dick Grayson, even though none of them is aware of the other's secret identity as a vigilante. In the episode Batgirl Returns, Barbara forms a peace pact with Catwoman, and the two of them collaborate to solve the mystery of where expensive cat figurines went missing while Batman is abroad. The Joker. Even though the Joker's origin is never shown in the series, some of his past is shown in the feature film Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. The Joker is one of only two villains in the series who never got an original episode. In flashbacks, he is depicted in the time before his injury, nevertheless, he does not talk, and he is not called by name. It is established that his possible true name is Jack Napier in the episodes Dreams and Darkness and Joker's Wild, when it is stated by Dr. Bartholomew and documented in a dossier, respectively. This is the same name that Jack Nicholson's version of the character had in Tim Burton's 1989 film. The program was largely modeled after the popularity and influence tone of Tim Burton's film, and the usage of this origin was a direct result of that heavy modeling. However, when the new Batman adventures began airing, it was during the time period of the films directed by Joel Schumacher. Joker's identity was kept, but his identity was retconned to be that of merely one of many aliases, as seen in the episode Beware the Creeper, which means that his real identity is still a mystery. This showed the efforts of the authors to bring the character back into line with his contradictory various beginnings from the comics, and it was a reflection of how successful they were. If you agree with the majority of the Batman community that Batman the Animated Series was the finest of all the ones that have come before and after it, let us know in the comments below. Click the like button if you'd like to see more videos just like the one you're watching now. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll be waiting for you in the next video.